My name is James, and I live in a small town in Washington. I recently turned 18, got my first steady job, and decided to get my own place. After looking around, I decided on an apartment just a couple of miles from where I worked. When I was moving, I discovered something that I hadn't seen in a long time. My journal from when I was younger. I decided to take a look at it just for a laugh. However, what I read in the journal reminded me of a very disturbing time during my childhood. My life seemed perfectly normal to me at the time. Sure, there were some strange things that happened, but at the time I didn't really make the connection. I was a kid after all. However, looking back and reading this journal, I realized that some of the occurrences from my childhood weren't just coincidence. During my childhood, there was always someone not far away, following me, watching me. The first occurrence I remember was in 2000. I had just started kindergarten that year. I was at recess playing hide and seek with my friends. I was hiding in the far corner of the playground behind the locked tool shed. The playground had a chain link fence around it. Beyond the fence was part of the school's parking lot. Beyond that, an empty field. And about 70 feet away from the fence was the tree line. I looked out towards the trees, and I noticed someone standing there at the tree line, staring in my direction. I stared back. He didn't move for a long time. Neither did I. Eventually, my friend Riley, who was it, found me and tagged me. I pointed over to the tree line and asked if he saw the man standing over there. He looked, and then looked at me like I was crazy. He said he didn't see anyone over there. I looked again, and sure enough, the man was gone. I didn't think much of this at first, but I started seeing him around the school more often. Sometimes I would see him multiple times in a single day. Sometimes I wouldn't see him for weeks. I always saw him while I was at the playground, and he was always standing by the tree line. Eventually, I told the teacher about the man. She called the police. They never found anything. In second grade, the teacher gave all the students in my class journals and gave us the assignment of writing an entry every day for the next month. This is something I kept doing even after the assignment was over, hence this journal. For the sake of time and so as to not bore you to death, I will only be posting the entries that pertain to the subject of this post. I will be posting the journal entries as they are written. Please keep in mind that I was a kid, so excuse any poor grammar you find. April 30th, 2003. Last night my mom let Fuzzy out. This morning we woke up and we couldn't find Fuzzy anywhere. I'm a little worried, but he's done this before. I'm sure he'll turn up eventually. May 4th, 2003. Well, it's been 4 days and Fuzzy still isn't back. He's never disappeared for more than a day. Looks like he's probably not coming back. This sucks. I'll miss Fuzzy. I wonder what happened to him. July 27th, 2003. My brother Noah and I were exploring the woods near our house when we found a house in the woods. It was really beat up. It looked abandoned. The windows were boarded up and what was left of the paint was peeling. For whatever reason, we decided to go check it out. The door was starting to fall apart, so getting inside was pretty easy. It was dark inside. I used my iPod to give us a little bit of light. We started to look around. The living room had an old dusty couch that was torn in a few places. Some of the foam from the couch was scattered around the living room. There was an old TV and a radio that didn't work, and a coffee table with a white sheet over it. The dining room and kitchen were empty except for an old refrigerator with some rotten food inside it. There was a door in the kitchen. We opened it and saw a staircase going down to the basement. We decided to look at the rest of the house before checking out the basement. There was some sort of office with a desk, a chair, and some filing cabinets. We looked through the cabinets and what we found freaked us out quite a bit. It was a picture of our house. We went upstairs and took a look in the bedrooms. In one of the bedrooms we found a desk. In one of the drawers in the desk we found pictures of our cat Fuzzy and a picture of the neighbor's cats. There was also a picture of David and Rachel, the couple who lived across the street from us. Noah was really freaked out at this point. He kept saying we should get out of there, but I wanted to look in the basement before we left. The basement had a dirt floor and concrete walls. There was a bunch of junk laying around. At the far end of the basement there was a door. Noah really wanted to leave, but I wanted to just take a quick look. Noah followed. What we saw in that room almost scared us to death. We saw the skeletons of 5 animals about the size of cats. Probably Fuzzy, the neighbor's cats, and other neighbors' pets. But that wasn't the worst part. There were also 2 human skeletons. We screamed and ran out of the house as fast as we could. We ran back to my house and told my parents about it. At first they thought we were just making it up, but eventually we convinced them and they called the police. The police found the house, but they never found the skeletons, or the person who put them there. But they did find the picture of my house. They also found a picture of me and Noah playing outside when we were younger. Our parents told us not to play in the woods anymore until the police found whoever did this. October 13th, 2005. I know I stopped doing this whole journal thing over a year ago, but something really weird just happened. And earlier today I happened to come across this journal when cleaning out my closet, so I thought I'd write this down. Last night I was playing my PS2 until around 3 in the morning. When I finally decided to crash, I turned the PS2 and TV off, but I left the controller on the bed. Later that night I woke up to something hitting metal. I figured I knocked the controller off the bed and it hit the frame. No big deal, I thought. But whenever I moved, I could hear the controller rubbing against the bed frame. It started to get annoying, so I reached under the bed trying to find the controller and move it. I looked over towards the foot of the bed, and in the dim light provided by the moon, I saw a hand reaching towards me. Startled, I jumped back into bed. After a few seconds, I realized it was probably just my imagination. I was really tired after all, but then I heard breathing coming from under my bed, and what sounded like someone moving under there, trying to crawl out. I jumped out of bed and woke my parents, who called the police. We're staying at a hotel tonight. October 14th, 2005. This morning we got a call from the police. They had found evidence that someone had been living in our attic. They found blankets, food, water bottles, beer bottles, and trash. But that wasn't the worst part. They found a camera and an SD card. On the card was a bunch of pictures of us in and around our house. Whoever had been up there was nowhere to be found. My parents remembered the incident that happened a few years earlier with the skeletons and the pictures in the old house in the woods. Whoever did this was never found either. The police suspect it was the same person. That's it, my dad said after getting off the phone with the police. We're moving. Today. That was the last I saw of that house. But it wasn't the last I saw of him.